So guys, we are going to discuss today about study unit 7. And this chapter is called Cost Management Concepts. And also remember, this is the second section of CMA. This is called costing section. And in costing section, we have these units. Unit number 7, unit number 8, unit number 9, 10, and 11. So this is called cost management section in CMA, and it is going to be your 15% of your exam. Okay, so it can be tested in MCQs also, and it can be tested in essay question as well. The unit 7 we are going to start in unit 7, which is cost management concept. So we have these topics. First topic is called 7.1. This is cost management terminology. We will talk about basic definitions here. Then section number 2, 7.2. This is called cost behavior and relevant range. And third, we have costing techniques. And fourth, we have actually two costing methods. One is absorption costing and second is marginal or variable costing. So we'll go through, but in this class, we are going to talk about first two topics today. 7.1 and 7.2. So fundamentals of costing we are going to discuss. So here we go. First of all, guys, because in this chapter, topic number 7.1 is about cost management terminologies. And here sometime in your exam, you will see the question on difference between financial accounting and management accounting, because we are going to start cost accounting. Cost accounting is going to be the part of management accounting. So sometimes the question is very simple straight away. They will ask you what is the difference between financial accounting and management accounting. So this difference, although we covered in first section, but here I'm just quickly reviewing it again because there are some questions relevant to this topic in this chapter. So what is the difference here, guys? First of all, the aim, I'm talking about here aim, the purpose. The aim of financial accounting is to provide information to which parties? To the external parties or to the outsiders. But on the other hand, in the management accounting, okay, we provide the information to internal parties. Internal parties means like a management within the business for their decision making. The first difference. Understood? Second is what? Regulatory requirement. Financial accounting is mandatory by governing bodies. For example, if you are a listed company, so you are required to produce financial statements, right? But management accounting is not mandatory by any statutory bodies. Understood? Then we have, in other words, governance, governing principle. When we do the financial accounting, we always follow either US GAAP or we follow what? IFRS. GAAP is the US based accounting system. IFRS is the international accounting system. Okay, so what is GAAP? I hope so you know it. It's called Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. IFRS stands for International Financial Reporting Standards. Okay, so these are two frameworks are there. Obviously, whenever you will do the accounting, either you will follow GAAP or you will follow what? IFRS. But for management accounting, we don't have such typical standards to follow. It depends what to include in the report, what you want to exclude. It is totally the choice of the management. Understood? Then we have a time horizon. Please also remember financial accounting. Mostly we prepare for 1 year, one accounting period. One accounting period means about 12 months. Right? And it always have which focus? Past focused. Because financial statements are prepared at the end of the year, right? For the previous 12 months. So on the other hand, management accounting is more future oriented. Because management accounting, what we are doing actually, we do the management accounting for the decision making, for the future of the business. Right or wrong? So that is why In management accounting, we don't have a set time. You can prepare management reports for any time. There is no specific time or horizon. Plus, it has which focus? Future focus. So this will be tested, okay? Sometimes they ask the question, output. What are the outputs, guys? Under financial accounting, obviously, we prepare what? Financial statements. What do we prepare? Financial statements under financial accounting. And financial statements includes what? Balance sheet, which is also called statement of financial position. It includes income statement, which is also called statement of comprehensive income, or statement of profit and loss. It also includes statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, and notes to the account. So there are different statements are there. Guys, please can you switch off your mics? Two people's mics are there, Safwan and Sarah. Then guys, here on the other hand, in management accounting, so which kind of reports we prepare? Mostly we prepare, for example, budgets, variances, costing, right? NPV, these kind of things. This is what is called your management accounting, output under management accounting. Then we have a data, relevance of data. Relevance of data means what? Like whatever data you include under financial accounting, mostly it is 100% verifiable because you don't record the transaction without source documents, right or wrong? So mostly the data is actual based most of the time. Okay, but under the management accounting, sometimes data is not 100% verifiable. The reason is that when you prepare the budget, your data might be what? Your data might be based on what certain assumptions, right or wrong? And then we have here independent audit. For financial accounting, it is sometimes mandatory for the companies to have external audit, right? But it is not important for the management accounting, right or wrong? So then, especially if you're a listed company, obviously it is compulsory for you. You have to have audited financial statement. And then confidentiality. I believe in financial accounting, there is no question for confidentiality. The reason we prepare the statements for the public and we issue to them, so it's not a confidential. But management accounting might be to some extent, it might be confidential. Okay, so this is just the differences I just told you. Now I'm going to move guys to the what is the cost accounting, because unit 7 we are discussing. So cost accounting, guys, always the part of management accounting. Actually, management accounting has two main branches. It includes financial management also. It includes cost and management also. Financial management, if you have idea, maybe investment appraisals, cost of capital, working capital management, business valuation, NPV, IRR, these kind of is the part of financial management. But our point is what? To discuss cost accounting we are talking about. So here I'm going to start with the definition of cost accounting. Understood? So need concentration, guys. First of all, what is cost accounting? Let me just give you a small example. Let's assume you are a manufacturer and you are manufacturing chairs, let's assume. Right? So obviously on chairs, you will use material, maybe plastic, iron, maybe fabric also, steel, metal, right? Or you will also use some labor also, you will use some other expenses as well, right? So at the end, actually, the chair is considered as a one product. And for this, we want to know what is the cost of the product, right? And to get the cost of the product, obviously cost accounting is required. Right? So what is the cost of the product? So what is cost accounting, how it is defined? They will not ask you in exam to define cost accounting, believe me, but you should know just for your knowledge. Cost accounting is what? So in cost accounting is concerned with the following things. Number one here, what? We will collect the cost data. We will collect first data relevant to cost, like how much material we have consumed, how much labor we have incurred. So we will collect first data. This is called collection of data, first stage. Second is what? Then we will apply the cost to the inventory. Based on that data, we will apply that cost or those costs to a specific product or to specific inventory or to a specific service, or maybe sometimes you can also calculate the cost of specific department also, right? Then, and obviously once you will apply the cost data to inventory, product or service, then you can prepare what certain statements like what budgets, costing, analysis of variance and profitability analysis. These things you can do under costing. So 2-3 words are there. First word is what? Collection of data. Number 2 is applying the data to the product or services. Number 3, producing the statements. So this is what is called cost accounting. And this can be tested in the question. Please remember, cost accounting will not help only management accounting. No, cost accounting will help financial accounting also. Because when you produce income statement under financial accounting, you have cost of goods sold section, right? What is the name of section? Cost of goods sold. It means there you are writing what? The cost of the goods sold. Even you will write there the cost of goods produced there also. Right or wrong? It means it will help you under financial accounting also. Obviously, it helps you under management accounting as well. Right or wrong? So look at here, that's what they're telling you. In financial accounting, costing information is used to account for the cost of goods sold and inventory in the external financial reports. Because what is the value of inventory? You need to know the cost of the inventory. Right? This is for financial accounting. And under management accounting, obviously, costing information is used to make decision about cost, production, budgeting, and pricing. Because obviously, you cannot set sale price until unless you know the cost of the product. Even in management, we need. Right? So here, what is the point to remember? Cost accounting can be used for, can help or can support to the financial accounting and management accounting. This point should be in your mind. Then, here I'm going to explain what is the cost, how you will define the cost. Okay, so there are two different ways together we can use to define it. Because in some scenario, first half of the statement will apply as a cost. In some scenario, second half of the statement will apply as a cost. So cost definition I'm going to tell you. So guys, if you look at here what's written, then I will explain. A cost is defined by IMA. Almost every professional bodies they are defining, they are using their words. Slight differences in the words only. So you have CMA official definition, IMA definition. There are so many definitions, but theme is the same. What is the theme? A measurement. Cost is what? A measurement in what? Monetary terms. This is the first word. Of the amount of resources used for some purpose. What it is? Let's understand with the help of example. You are manufacturing chairs. You know you have utilized the fabric or metal, right? Or the wood to manufacture the material. So I want, what is the cost here? These are the resources which I have consumed. Resources means say wood, fabric or metal. These are resources which I have consumed. I want the value of these resources in terms of money. In terms of money, this is what is called monetary term. If I will get the value of resources in terms of money, so that is what is called cost. And these resources we have consumed, we have utilized to make the product. So in short, whatever resources we have consumed to manufacture the product, the value of those resources in terms of dollar is called what? Cost. Understood? Sometimes cost is defined this way also. This is other part of the statement, and you will agree with me. The sacrifice measured by the price paid or required to be paid to acquire goods or services. Sometimes we buy goods or services. Maybe you will buy LCD, maybe you will buy soap from the market. You are paying some money, right? Maybe you have already paid to buy that, or maybe you will pay in the future. So I mean to say this is the cost of the product which you have acquired. For example, I bought a chair from you for $100. For me, cost, the price paid is the cost for me. Right or wrong? So you can define this way also cost. Understood? Clear? I hope so there is no doubt in that, right? We are discussing definitions, and don't worry, from these definitions, a lot of questions will be there. You can have simple questions also from these definitions. Here we go. Now, you also need to remember what is the purpose of costing. So there are mainly four purposes we can say, because this can help you if you are dealing with essay question. Maybe they can ask you to write about purpose of costing. What is the purpose? Number one is what? Value inventory. As I give you example, even inventory cost is required even for the financial accounting purpose, right? Cost of inventory is required. So costing will help you to value the inventory, like what is the value of this inventory. This is the first purpose. Second purpose is what? Record cost. Right or wrong? We also need to know what cost should be reflected in the income statements or in the statement which you are producing. What cost you have to reflect. It means to maintain record, you also need cost information. Right? Third is what? Pricing product. Obviously, whenever you set the price of the product, first you need to know the cost of product, then you will add what? Profit into that. This is what is the selling price, right? It means to get the selling price, we also need to know what is the cost of the product. This is what is called pricing product. Right? And the fourth purpose is what? Is the make decision. What is make decision? Obviously, if you are incurring unnecessary cost, or if your cost of the product is too high, you need to cut the cost by taking some decisions. So where to cut the cost or where to incur more cost, how you will come to know if you have a costing information. So these are the four purposes of costing. So far we discussed definition of cost and what? Purpose of costing. And from here your book actually is starting. Okay. Then we have another definition. Another definition, please have to listen me. That is called cost object. Cost object. How you can define the cost object? I will tell you. Cost object means to say anything to which you can allocate the cost or for which cost can be calculated. For example, I'm manufacturing LCD. LCD is one cost object because cost can be attached to the LCD. I'm manufacturing, for example, laptop. Laptop is another cost object to which cost can be attached. I'm manufacturing pen. So pen is another cost object to which cost can be attached. Even department is your cost object. Accounts department. What is the cost of accounts department? Their salary. Cost can be attached to the accounts department. That is also cost object. Anything to which cost can be attached, that is called what? Cost object. It could be a process. It could be a department. Right or wrong? It could be a product. So this is what is called cost object. I hope it is clear. Understood? Second definition. Another definition. Another definition that is called what? Cost driver. Okay, how you can define? First of all, I will read this definition which is written here. Then I will give you examples. A cost driver is some event, or you can say some factors are something that causes cost to occur. For example, I will tell you here, like these are those factors which causes the cost to occur. For example, if you have a labor cost, I'm giving you example. What you have? Labor cost. And you know what will be the cost driver for the labor cost? Maybe labor hours. Labor hour is the cost driver. Why? Because if labor will work more hours, labor cost will increase. If labor will work less hours, labor cost will decrease. It means for labor cost, what is the driver? Labor hours. Right or wrong? Same here, you might have a maintenance cost. Maybe for maintenance cost could be machine hours. If you will operate more machine hours, obviously maintenance cost will be more because you need to maintain more machine, right? If your machine hours, if you will operate less machine hours, your maintenance cost would be, what it means for maintenance cost, maybe cost driver is what? Machine hours. Maybe you have a ordering cost. Which cost? Ordering cost. And for ordering cost driver could be number of orders. Number of, if you will order more time, your ordering cost will increase, right? If you will order less time, your ordering cost will decrease. Right? For material cost, maybe cost driver could be a production of output, production or units of output, right? Because if you will produce more units, material consumption will increase. If you will produce less units, material consumption will decrease. It means material cost, for material cost driver must be number of units produced. Understood? And you are driving cars on daily basis. Petrol cost. What is the cost driver for petrol cost? Maybe the kilometer driven, right? If you will drive more kilometers, petrol cost will go up. If you will drive less kilometer, petrol cost will go down, right? So this is also cost driver. Right or wrong? Cost driver for rent maybe could be square feet. Right or wrong? If you will take more square feet on rent, obviously rent cost will increase. If you will reduce the square feet, maybe rent cost will decrease. Obviously, cost driver means I actually understood. The factors are event which causes the cost to occur. Why we are studying it? Because later on in some topics we will study. If you want to reduce any cost of any activity, just reduce the cost driver. Just reduce the cost driver. For example, you don't want the petrol cost to incur. Okay, reduce the kilometers. Right or wrong? If you want to save, don't drive your car. Okay. So then, guys, we have here another definition which is called what? Cost pool. Pool means to say, actually, pool means the place, or you can say the account. I would say the account where you accumulate the cost with same causes, with same cause. The pool means the simply you can say in terms of, as you are accountant, you can understand the ledger. Ledger is one pool. In pool, every time, let's assume you have a ledger account for rent. Every time rent cost you will put into rent ledger, right? You will never put rent cost into salary ledger. Salary for salary cost, you have also pool. Salary ledger. Every time salary expense you will write into salary ledger. Right or wrong? So how you will define the pool? It is the cost pool. It is the account where you will accumulate the cost with same causes. With common cause or same cause, you will accumulate the cost. That is what is called cost pool. Understood? 3-4 definitions we have done, and this is more important thing which I'm going to explain now. And then we will do some questions also to understand. This is the first topic we are discussing. Here we go. This is the important thing, and I will start discussion on it now. You need depth understanding. So I'm talking about total cost. Total. From manufacturing company point of view, we always divide total cost into 2 sections. We say production cost and what? Non-production cost. Production cost is also called manufacturing cost. And non-production is also called what? Non-manufacturing cost. And mainly in production, we have 3 components. And then these components I'm going to open. The first component is called what? Material cost. Second is called what? Labor. And third is called what? Factory overheads. Actually, you have to understand what is production cost. Production means these are those costs which you will incur in the production area. And these are those costs which you incur to produce the product. And non-production cost means these are those costs which you will not incur to produce the product. Okay, and in non-production, what you will have? Selling and marketing. Because selling and marketing is not to produce, it is to sell the product. And then you might have a administration cost, because mainly accounts department, they don't work only for production, they work for whole entity. So administration cost, sometimes we are not able to relate only to the production. So that's why we say it is non-production. We will discuss one by one, don't you worry. The total 5 costs are there. 3 here: material cost, labor cost, and overhead. And 2 here: selling and marketing. Ready? Now starting with first here with the material cost. and I need your concentration. So material cost, I can divide into two areas. One is called direct material cost, and second is called what? Indirect material cost. Material, for example, if you are manufacturing, maybe stitching shirts, so fabric is material, obviously thread is material, button is material. These are material, right? Now the point is that material means a tangible input. Keyword is what? Tangible. Obviously it has existence. It's tangible input to the production process. To the production process, which can be traced into the cost object, which can be looked into the cost object. I can realize this is metal, this is fabric, or this is thread, whatever. Okay, so material, how you will define material? This is what? Tangible input to the production process, which can be traced. But here, guys, we have two types of material cost. One is called direct, and second is called what? Indirect. I will explain direct and indirect in my own words. Direct, I'm explaining first direct. So three words you have to look for the direct material. If any material which is identifiable, what? Identifiable. You can look easily, right? And it is the major part of the product. What? Major part of product. Like it is integral part of the product. Maybe without that product cannot be completed. Third is what? It has a major cost also. What? Major cost. Major cost means to say the amount is not negligible. Amount is not negligible. If these three conditions are there, so we will say the material, this is the direct material. For example, the chair you are sitting there, you can see the metal or the fabric or the plastic or the foam, which is identifiable, right? You can see it. Second is what? It is a major part of the product. That is what, obviously, if you will look at the whole chair, maybe this material is having major cost as well. We will say it is a direct material. Right? For example, you are stitching shirts. Thread may be identifiable. If you will use black thread on white shirt, identifiable very easily. Major part, obviously, without thread stitching is not possible, right? Don't say we will use glue to stitch shirt on. Third is what? Major cost, but the thread cost is not major as compared to the whole shirt. So then obviously one condition is missing now. So what we will say? We will say it is a indirect material. If all three conditions are met, it's identifiable, it's a major part of the product, and it has major cost also. Right? So we will say it is a direct material, otherwise we will say it is the indirect material. For example, you are again manufacturing chairs, maybe you have used somewhere nails, staples, or somewhere you have used a glue, right? Which is maybe not identifiable. Okay, if it is identifiable, it is major part also, but its cost is not major. Maybe 1 kg glue packet you can use for 100 chairs. Right or wrong? And glue packet cost will be 10 dirham. Understood? So its cost is not major. And be practical now. Practically, companies always having a policies. To solve bookish question, this information is enough what I told you. But practically, companies they always having a policies. Like this material is treated as direct, and this material is treated as indirect. Okay, so I'm going to tell you here, please don't forget indirect material. Indirect material will be treated as a part of overheads. Part of what? I will tell you what is overheads, don't you worry. Indirect material will be the part of overheads. Indirect, not direct, indirect, I'm saying. Then guys, we have here labor cost. Second cost I'm explaining. Labor cost also having a direct labor cost and what? Indirect labor cost. Okay, what is direct and indirect? Guys, please remember here. Labor cost, you know, the cost of human, right? Who has worked on the production, who has worked on the product. And by the way, is it direct or indirect? So let me tell you here. For example, you're going to visit a production area. Let's assume you are a normal person, you are accountant. You are going to visit a production process. There, what you have seen? You have seen so many people are working. Some people's, like for example, labor is there. They are making, like they are engaged with the machines heavily. And some people, they are supervisors. Some people, they are just doing cleaning, janitorial work. Right or wrong? So you are confused now. You have production manager also there. You are confused now who is direct labor and who is indirect labor. I'm going to tell you those people who are engaged in altering what? The condition or composition of the product. Keyword is what? Engaged. They are altering. Like for example, I gave you material, I gave you wood, you made the chair from there. So you're altering the condition, right? Second is what? Or these could be inspector or tester specifically required for such production. Maybe there are some people immediately with the production, they are checking quality also. It can also be direct labor. Okay. Anyone else whose wages are specifically identified. Now let me make it more simple. Any people in the production department who are not a manager of the production, who are not the supervisor, and who are not the janitorial staff. Okay, other people will be classified as direct labor, supervisor salaries, manager salaries, production manager salaries, janitorial staff salaries, because janitorial, they are cleaners like that, sweepers. They're not altering the products. So their salaries will be treated as a part of indirect labor. Understood? Clear what I told you? And please also note, indirect labor will be the part of overheads also. Indirect material and indirect labor, both will be the part of overheads. And here we have some, just a note. Just key note, by the way, it won't be, I guess, tested, but sometimes you have overtime premium. You know overtime premium, right? What is overtime premium? You're paying extra than normal rate. Right or wrong? That is called overtime premium. So they're saying sometimes we pay both to the direct and what? Indirect workers. Like maybe you are paying to the labor also, you are paying to supervisor also. So these are treated as what? Indirect cost. Indirect cost means overheads. These are treated as overhead, but we have their exception. So except in what? Two particular circumstances. This is just a bookish, practically it depends upon company policy how they are treating. Okay, normally overtime premium is the part of its cost. Indirect means these are the part of overheads. Okay, except in two particular circumstances. Circumstances is what? If overtime is worked at specific request of the customer. For example, I'm the tailor, you came to me, you are saying you want me to stitch a suit for you. I'm saying that I'm very busy, I don't have a time maybe. And you are saying that you will pay me some extra money if I will work overtime. Now guys, see, I'm working on the request of the customer. So I can consider my cost as what? Direct cost, not indirect cost. Okay, so what they're saying, if overtime is worked at specific request of the customer, if customer is demanded, he want the work to be done quickly and you have to work more time for that and is ready to pay overtime premium, that will be treated as direct cost, not a indirect cost. Second is what? If overtime is worked regularly by a production department in normal course of the operation, like it is routine. Every day people are working 2 hours extra. So if this is a scenario, then that extra payments for overtime, which is 2 hours, will also be treated as direct cost because it is their routine. And also remember guys, bonus payments. Sometimes we are making bonus payments. Bonus payments are the part of which cost? Indirect cost, not the direct. Indirect means what? Overheads. What is overheads? I'm going to tell you now. Now guys, here I'm going to tell you here. And there's one more point, idle time. Sometimes people are not working, but they are getting paid for that, right? That is called idle time. The time for which they didn't work, but they are paid for that. Idle time is and also which cost? Overhead cost, indirect cost, I mean to say. Now I'm going to tell you third category. In production cost, first category was what? Material. Second category was what? Labor. And third category is what? Overhead. So now, guys, there are different ways are there to define overhead cost. Okay, so number first way I'm telling you. Simplest way. The cost which is not a direct cost. Cost of the production, but which is not the direct cost. You know, there are two direct costs, direct material, and there was a one thing direct labor. Any cost other than direct material and direct labor will become what? Overhead. This is the first way to explain it. Understood? Any cost which is not the direct material or direct labor. Second way is what? So we can also say these are indirect cost. Which are which cost? These are indirect cost. Indirect cost which cannot be traced into the product. Economically or physically, it's not like possible. For example, can you look at this chair and tell me how much electricity they have utilized to manufacture this chair? Can you tell me? No, you cannot tell me. But you know, obviously electricity is utilized, consumed to manufacture this table. You know, electricity cost is there, but how much I don't know. This is what is called overhead. Can you tell me by looking at this chair, how much dollars or how much quantity of glue they have used to manufacture this? It will be not possible, right? But you know, Staples glue they have used, right? It means it is also which cost? Overhead cost. So overhead cost means the second way. Please listen what I'm saying. Second way is what to define overhead. These are those costs, and these are those indirect costs which cannot be traceable, which are not traceable, which cannot be traced into the cost object, right? And under overheads we have a three types. Which three types under overheads we have? We have a cost of what? Indirect material. Indirect material, I told you, those material either it is not identifiable, either it is not a major part of the product, either it is not a major cost is not major, so it is indirect material. Indirect labor, I also told you, it is the part of overhead. And there is a one more third category which is the part of overhead, that is called what? Factory operating cost. Factory stands for production area, we say where production is going on. Factory operating cost is also part of overhead. Which factory cost could be there? For example, it could include the cost of utilities like electricity, water, gas, these kind of things. It can include what? Real estate, taxes. Maybe you are paying some taxes of the factory. Obviously, this cost is due to factory, property tax from the factory, so that is also the overhead cost. It might include what? Insurance of the factory plant and machinery. Also, overhead cost. It might include what? Depreciation of factory plant and machinery is also what? Overhead cost. It might include rent also. Right or wrong? So these costs can be what? The factory operating cost. In over, and if I will ask you how many types of or how many categories are there in overheads, you would say three. Indirect material, indirect labor, and what? Overheads, factory overheads. Okay. And some of the costs are variable. Variable, you know, those costs which will change with the production. If production goes up, cost goes up. If production goes down, cost goes down. Right? That is called variable. And some of the cost could be fixed also. Fixed means say it has no relation with the production. Either production is more or less even zero. You will incur that cost. For example, rent. You will produce more or less, or you have zero production. Rent you have to pay. That is called which cost? Fixed cost. Understood? Now guys, here we go. Few notes I'm going to tell you here. How many costs in the production we have? We have a direct material. Now this is the correct way. Plus what? Direct labor and plus what? Overheads. In overheads we have three things. What? Indirect material. We have indirect labor and we have a factory operating cost. Okay, material and labor cost is always your variable cost. And overheads could be variable and fixed both. Right? Now please remember here, if I will add first two costs, direct material and direct labor, it is also known as what? Prime cost. But it is known as Sometime in exam, he will tell you prime cost is $5. It means he already added cost of material, cost of direct material, and cost of direct labor. That is called prime cost. Understood? And here focus with me. If I will add these two costs, can you see which two costs I have highlighted? Labor cost and what? Overhead. If I will add these two costs, this is called which cost? Conversion cost. Because what is conversion cost? Conversion cost means the cost which you will incur to convert the material, into finished goods. And obviously, which cost you will incur? You will incur labor and overhead to convert the material into finished goods. That is called what? Conversion cost. And please also note, guys, direct material and direct labor is also called direct cost. Which cost? Direct. And overhead is also called indirect cost. What? Indirect. Please remember, huh? Understood? So 4, 5, 6 definitions I told you here. Prime, conversion, direct, indirect. Understood? So this direct, indirect I also told you, right? These are just alternative name, don't worry. Then under non-manufacturing, you have two types. Which two types you have, guys? Under non-manufacturing, you have what? Selling and marketing expense. And we have what? Administration expense. How you will define selling and marketing? Actually, selling and marketing expenses are those costs incurred in getting the product from the factory to from factory to consumer. Simply you are going to deliver the goods to the consumer, whatever cost you will incur after production until delivery, that is called what? Selling and marketing cost. It could include what? Like sales, personnel salaries, advertisement cost, product transportation cost, etc. Right? And then you have which cost? Administrative cost. Administrative costs are those costs incurred by a company. For example, accounts department salary. I cannot say it is relevant to the production. I cannot also say it is relevant to the non-production. So sometimes we cannot allocate the cost. We cannot relate the cost to production or non-production. So those are called what? Administration. Because they take care of both functions, production and non-production. So this is what they are saying. Administration expense are those costs incurred by a company not directly related to producing or marketing the product. It is not relevant to not relevant to marketing also, not relevant to the production also. So then we will say it is the administration cost. Like for example, executive salaries, like board of directors salaries, depreciation on headquarter building. Headquarter is not production, not dealing with even sales. Later on, it's not specific to relevant to one. Rent on warehouse containing inventory. So these are called which cost? Administration expense. Understood? Now, guys, last two words from first topic, then I will show you questions. Just remember here, because otherwise we will study obviously, especially these two words, product cost and period cost. Because with each costing method, I will tell you these costs will be the part of product and these costs will be the part of expenses. That we'll see later, but so far I am telling you what is the product cost. Product cost means say the cost which will be recorded as a part of inventory. As a part of inventory, like any cost which will be taken to the inventory value, inventory cost, that is called product cost. And ultimately these costs are written where? In cost of goods sold. It's written there. Okay, like any cost which will be written under the section of cost of goods sold, it means that is product cost. And what is the period cost? Period cost means that you are going to record as a expense. For example, marketing expense or maybe for example administration cost. These we treat as a period cost. Period, because it will not be written under cost of goods sold section. It will be written below to the GP or below to the contribution. Right or wrong? So that is why these are called what? Period. Simply you have to remember so far here. Number one, product cost will be the part of product and it will be written under cost of goods sold section. And period cost, which is not the part of the product cost. So obviously it will not be written under cost of goods sold. It will be written somewhere in the expenses section. But each costing method will define later. Like as per this method, these costs are period, these are product. Every costing method has slight differences. That we will go through over. Understood? So I'm going to show you some questions here. Guys, here we go. Question number 1 we are discussing here. I would request you just go through this question quickly, please, so we will discuss them. Okay, so guys, they're telling you management accounting differs from what? Financial accounting. In that financial accounting is, question is about financial accounting. Financial accounting is what more oriented towards the future? No, it has past focus. Yes. Primarily concerned with external financial reporting? Yes, this is true actually. Primarily concerned with non-quantitative information? No, it includes quantitative digital information also. Digits, I mean say, dollars, right? Pound. This is also incorrect. Heavily involved with the decision analysis and implementation of decisions, maybe management accounting is heavily involved there, not the financial accounting. Which is correct answer? B is the correct answer. Right? Now I'm going to show you another question. This is also, I'm going to ask you, in a traditional manufacturing operation, direct cost, direct, you know, I told you direct material plus what? Direct labor. These are called direct cost. And these are mostly traceable into the cost object. Direct cost would normally include, like in manufacturing operations, you have to tell what is the direct cost. Right? So number 1 is what? Machine repairs in an automobile factory. Like there is one industry who is manufacturing cars and repair of machines. Is it direct labor? Is it direct material? No, it means it is a overhead cost and it is indirect cost. Question is about direct cost. Commissions paid to sales personnel. It is not direct, it is marketing cost, selling and marketing. Electricity in an electronic plant. This is also overheads. Electricity is overheads. Utilities. It will its overhead. So it is not a direct cost. Then what? Wood in furniture factory. Wood would be direct material because it is identifiable major part and major cost also. So option D is correct. Understood? This is the direct cost. And then we have a other question quickly. Please go through, guys. Okay, so what is the question here? Question is an example of operating cost at hotel. You know, I told you operating cost at hotel that both direct and, like you are running a hotel and you have to identify which cost is direct also and fixed also. No, direct and fixed. Direct and fixed. It should be fixed and direct also. I will give example. Manager salary. Manager. No, it is indirect. It's part of overhead. Manager salary. Right? Right or wrong? No, you have to just look at again one time. Manager salary is fixed cost is there. It is fixed. right? Is it direct? Is it material? Because direct will be material and labor. Is it labor? Manager, we don't say direct labor. Right or wrong? And it is not a material also. So it means it doesn't fit into the definition. Look at it then. Advertisement for the hotel chain. Advertisement is direct cost. Is it cost of material or labor? No. It is not, right? It is not fixed. What about water? So I guess let's discuss here. The point is, guys, here advertisement is not a direct, it is not a fixed, it is changing. Okay, so we have to discuss first point again. Water. Water could be part of material, right or wrong, but it is not fixed. Right or wrong? Then what? Toilet tissues can be part of material supplies, but it's not fixed. It means now we have here left because question, yeah, I got the question is not about direct or in question is about actually operating cost. It's not about it should be overhead or not. They're saying question is what is the operating cost of hotel, which should be direct and fixed. I guess the manager salary. The manager salary is fixed also and its operational cost also. Here direct doesn't mean, guys, please. Because first I was answering also in that context. Direct means which is directly relevant to the activity operations here. Manager salary is directly relevant to that, and it is also fixed. Because if you will focus on others, so this advertisement is not. It's variable. This is also variable. This is also variable. It means only we are left with this option. Right or wrong? It could be a direct and fixed. Then we have here next question. Go through this question, please. So question is, all of the following would be considered as manufacturing. Now question is about overheads. Okay, by a book publisher, except like for you are dealing with a book publishing company. So what is the overhead except? So what is the question then? You understand the question? Like which is not the part of overhead? Actually, this is the question. Which is not the part of overhead? This is the question actually. Understood? Number one, understanding? You understand the question first. If the question is what? Like which is not the part of overhead? Because question is about except. Which is not the part of overhead? Number one, depreciation on printing plant. I told you depreciation, insurance, property taxes, rent, all these are overheads. Depreciation is overhead. And it's a printing plant, production plant, their depreciation, overhead. Then let's read the C first. Wages paid to production supervisor, overhead. I told you supervisor salary, manager salary, janitorial salary is indirect labor, part of overheads. Understanding what I'm saying? Right. Fire insurance. Insurance is also part of operating cost. Factory operating cost, which is the part of overheads. Understood? It means what is left now? B. Rent on warehouse containing finished goods. Inventory. It is mostly the part of marketing and selling expenses. No? Administration expenses. I'm asking you. Yeah. It was administration expenses. Right? So it was written here. I will show you. Because that's why data is important. You have to go through properly. See here, rent on warehouse containing inventory, the part of administration expense. Okay. My just objective is to highlight the important points, and these reading you cannot skip. You need to understand properly. Then we have other questions. We'll do a couple of questions. This is done. So read this question, please. Okay, so let's read the question again, what you are being asked. The question is about many companies recognize three major categories of cost of a manufacturing a product. Which three major categories? These are direct material, direct labor, and what? Overheads. These are three categories, right? What's the question now? Which of the following is an overhead cost in the production of automobile? So you have to answer what is the overhead cost. This is the question. Okay, ready? And in overhead, I told you there are three categories: indirect material, indirect labor, and factory operating cost. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? So you have to see here which is the overhead cost now. The cost. Okay, let me read from. I'm going to read in the reverse order. The cost of the tires. Tire is your material, and tire is direct material. Don't say in automobile. You cannot say tire is not identifiable. It's not the major part, and it's not the major cost. No, it is direct material. So it is not the overhead, not the overhead. Second, cost of labor. Who place tires on each automobile? It is direct labor. We are directly working on ordering the products, right? This is direct labor, not overhead. Then what delivery cost for the tires on each automobile? Let me tell you guys, maybe you don't know this, I'm going to highlight. For example, I bought a tire from you, assume, for $10. And you're saying $2 you are going to charge as a delivery charges. For me, tire cost will be 12, not 10. So that is where delivery cost for the material. Delivery cost of the tires will be the cost of direct material. Will be the part of direct material. You understood what I'm saying? Right or wrong? If you are buying anything from America, let's assume any product, you paid $100 there and $20 you paid freight charges. If I will ask you what is the cost, what do you tell? 100 and 120, which 120? This is what they're saying. It means the delivery charges will be the part of direct material cost. Which cost? Direct material. So it's not overhead. Then what? Cost of small tools, dies, used in mounting tires on each automobile. Maybe you are using some machines, small tools to fix the tires. Is it material? Can you relate with one product? No, this mounting ties will be used for all cars. You cannot relate to one any specific car. It means I can say this is what is the overheads. If the word they use small tools, we can say it is like kind of indirect material we are using. Indirect material we are using. Right, or small tools in mounting ties for each automobile. So this will be what you are part of overheads. Understood? I'm sorry guys. So here we go now. Read one more question. It is more easy. Conversion cost do not include. Conversion cost do not include what? Conversion means what? Conversion include labor cost and overhead cost. And they're asked, this is called conversion. They're asking what or which will not be the part of conversion, right? Am I right? Number one, depreciation. Depreciation is always overheads. It is part of conversion. Indirect labor, part of overheads, part of conversion cost. Direct material, yes, it is not a labor, it is not a overheads. It means this is the answer. Direct material, right? It's not labor, it's not overhead. And then indirect material, it is part of overheads, which is a part of conversion. It means direct material is the only thing which is not the part of conversion cost. Understanding? Guys, you need practice actually, yeah? So one more question we are going to do. Can you read this question, please? So here they're telling you direct labor cost are wages paid to. Wages. What is question, guys? About labor cost, which direct labor cost. They're saying actually here we have a three thing. They're asking you which will be the part of what? Direct labor cost. Okay, obviously those wages which are paid to what? Machine operators. Machine operator should be yes. Factory supervisors, no. Supervisor is a part of overhead. Indirect labor, not the direct labor. To corporate vice president, administration cost. Right or wrong? It means only there's a one cost which could be treated as direct labor. So where is the yes? See, here is a yes for machine operators, no for factory supervisors, and no for corporate vice president. Understood? Right or wrong? So guys, maybe last question that we had. Okay, so this was the last question. So